Okay guys, welcome back to this channel. I was about to forget about it now. I decided let me do a fun little video over here. There's a lot of hype currently about KCSE. I think KCSE results just came out. I saw online and everywhere guys are, KCSE, KCSE this and that, KCSE this and that. If you watch this video and you're not a Kenyan, it's the main entrance exam for universities in Kenya that is done in high school, in the last year of high school, Form 4. So KCSE was done towards the end of 2025 and the results just came out and guys are celebrating, others are not. You know how it goes when exam results are released. So I decided to find out whether I can still ace it, whether I can still remember anything. It's been 19 good years. This is actually the 20th year since I did my KCSE, and you guys might have seen some other videos here. During those days, I was rather sharp. But a lot of water has gone under the bridge, and most definitely I've forgotten a lot of that stuff. During my time I did English, Kiswahili, mathematics, geography, history, physics, chemistry, biology. How many are those? 8. Yeah, 8 subjects. And by the way, my favorite was Kiswahili. I passed. Yeah, I passed. Now, I just wanted to see, can I still answer those questions? I figured that it's likely that you might find some of those papers online. Let me just look at what people are answering, So, let me record my screen over here. Screen recording. I just googled KCSE 2025 papers PDF download, just finding out whether we have any PDFs. I see some sites here. There's a site here called color.co.ke. I don't know what that stands for. KCSE 2025 exam papers. Let me look at that site. Okay, it's here. They seem to have the exam papers, 2025 KCSE Agriculture Paper 1. I didn't do any agriculture in high school, art and design. I don't know anything about that. Biology. Now that I'm a doctor, maybe I should attempt biology. I doubt I know anything right now. You see, when you get deeper and deeper into these things, in fact, when you get into campus, you start studying medicine, you notice that there's a whole new biology, not what you learned in high school. There's a whole new, body of knowledge that you're not aware of. So you get into that, you forget what you learned in high school. And even after that, some of us proceeded to postgraduate and we narrowed down into a smaller area. For me, it's orthopaedic surgery. So the tinier you go, the more definitely you forget the big picture, the big things, the small things, no, the big things. So 2025 KCSE biology. Let me just look at what the questions looked like. I hope this is actually the truth. I wasn't that good in biology, by the way. Okay, I was good, as in good enough to get an A, a very good A, but through high school, I was not like the top in biology. I remember there used to be a guy called Greg, who is now, I think, a lawyer, who was quite good. Anyway, so let me see. This is biology paper, 2? Let me magnify it a little bit. Section A, we have 40 marks. Then probably there will be a section B somewhere down here. I see the person who scanned this thing, his finger is here. Yeah, I think they are the real papers. KCSE 2025 is written down here. So let me just take a quick overview of what it looks like. I'm unlikely to, answer it because this seems like they need to be printed out so that you can write on it, and I don't have that kind of time or resources over here. Now, the following diagram illustrates a light microscope. Yeah. By the way, in medicine, you actually use a microscope when you go to campus. Subjects like microbiology and so on, you'll use a lot of microscopes, and even out here in hospitals, microscopes are used. Okay, name the part labeled E. There's a part here labeled E. I can't remember these things. What was this thing? I think it was a lens of sorts. Now I think there was a mirror down here. Let me just magnify it. What was the name of this part? I don't know. I think right now, if I did my KCSE, I would definitely get an E. Or like this part labeled E. So I can't remember. I just remember this was I think a coarse adjustment knob. Then this G, then this H was, I think, a fine adjustment knob. Then these are objective lenses. What was the name of this part? I don't remember. So I'd probably fail this 1 mark. Label on the diagram with the letter F the part that reflects light to the specimen. That I'd get, it's this mirror down here. Then state the function of the part labeled H. Fine adjustment knob. If I'm not wrong, the smaller one, you kinda use it to finely adjust the magnification. 1 mark, I'd probably get half if that is a mark. Explain the precautions that should be taken while using the part labeled G. G. Are there really any precautions? It's just a knob that you rotate. Maybe you should not rotate it in huge increments. I don't know. 2 marks. Anyway, I'd probably get 1 or nothing. Describe how one can determine the magnification of a specimen viewed under the microscope. 2 marks. The magnification is, I think the magnification on the lens in the eyepiece times the magnification like of the objective lens, if I'm not wrong. That will give you like the total magnification. Guys, comment down below if you think I'm just failing all these things. During a microscopy lesson, 2 groups of students observed different numbers of cells from the same slide using identical microscopes. Suggest the likely cause of the difference. I think it's the magnification. One group has set a larger magnification and the other group a smaller magnification. Definitely the one with a smaller magnification will see more cells. That I should get. In an experiment, students made some marks on the root of a germinating bean plant as shown in the diagram. State the aim of the experiment. Tester beginning. So, anything about plants, I don't know. My biology is now very, very human, not even animals. So, after 14 days, what would be the aim of this experiment? I don't know, maybe to look at how that root grows. On the space provided, I sketch the appearance of the marks on the root after 14 days. I think when the root becomes longer, the space between the marks should increase, if I'm not wrong. Anyway, ignore that. State 2 materials the students will require to undertake the experiment. Not sure. Definitely, if I just sit and think, I can get some of these things. We have some more questions about plants. Okay, there's something here that looks like something I should know. Though now, I even also probably have forgotten some of these things. This looks like what you'd get in histology. Histology is the study of like tissues, you know, like it's part of what you learn in first year medical school. The following diagram represents a section of the mammalian skin. Definitely, even without this question, I know by just looking at how this diagram looks like, this is most definitely skin. Name the part labeled M. M. It's not very clear. I don't know whether you guys will actually see it, but this M, this looks like sebaceous gland. This must be a sebaceous gland. There must be a duct coming to the root of the hair. This is a hair follicle, definitely. Then this L is a muscle. It's the erector pili muscle. Now this one's, I'm sure I'm correct if I'm not wrong. Then N is what? N should be a sweat gland. So the roles played by N and L. L is a rectopili muscle, so definitely it's a question of contracting and changing the orientation of the hairs. And N will be, evaporation of sweat and so on will cause reduction in temperature. So generally, maybe, I'm not sure, I don't remember exactly what the syllabus covered, but they don't look like very difficult questions. If you do some sort of revision, any sort of revision, if you read something somewhere, explain why aquatic animals have thick adipose tissue. I think for heat and so on. Oh, we have another one here that is a little bit nearer where I am right now in life. The following diagram represents a section of the human female reproductive system. We have kidneys. Name the part labeled P. P. Okay. The scan is not very good, but I think P is pointing towards the fallopian tube. This should be the fallopian tube. Yes. State two functions of the part labeled R. R is the uterus. Two functions. There should be like 50 functions. Anyway, I'm just exaggerating. R, it's the uterus, it carries the baby. That is not a difficult question. Name the hormone secreted in the part labeled Q. Q is ovaries. Ovaries produce at least two hormones. You just need to think about the menstrual cycle. There are four hormones: FSH, LH. Those ones should be from up here. Then estrogen and progestin. Progesterone is the name that we were told in high school. State the role of the hormone named in C1. The ovary actually produces both estrogen and progesterone. So I guess the hormone that you'd write here, you'd write its role down here. Explain why a pregnant woman would require more proteins in her diet. The child is growing, forming cells. Proteins are needed for that. 2 marks. In an investigation, blood flowing in two blood vessels W and X of a healthy adolescent was measured within a minute and recorded as shown below. Blood pressure is here. And time. So you're supposed to plot a graph. Why would someone have pressures of 390? I don't know. State the likely identity of the blood vessels W and X. Okay, this is something I should ideally be able to answer. So this vessel W went from 150 to 180. And vessel X went from 350 to 390. Then you're supposed to state the identity of these vessels. Identity like the name of the vessel, or to say this is an artery, this is a vein. I don't know. I think sometimes, I think when you study more, you reason too much. This might just be something simple, but I can't really get my head around it. Okay, let's just go on. Compare the blood pressure of an adolescent boy and a 60-year-old man. Okay, some of these questions. Ideally, an adolescent boy should have a lower blood pressure than a 60-year-old man. Because with time, as you age, vessels tend to become stiffer, so pressure tends to go higher. Explain the role of blood in temperature regulation. That is simple. Disease control. That one I'd get. Okay. Describe the role of the stomach in digestion. Definitely this I'd get 5 marks. Produces a lot of stuff. Gastrin, HCl. Mixes up food with those enzymes. And so on. The stomach does a lot of things. Describe the mechanisms that lead to the opening of the stomata during the day. Stomata in plants, not animals. So this question, the part A is stomach in animals or humans, then part B is plants. Okay. I think if I sat down and like took some time to think, I'd probably answer some of these questions. I think I'd get a 50%. Maybe a B or a C. Forces involved in the uptake of water in terrestrial plants. Okay. Is it osmosis and so on? Maybe. That is it. There are only like 8 questions. This is weird. Oh, that was section B, number 6. How long does this paper take? This is interesting. Okay, maybe I'm under or overjudging, maybe because I'm used to in med school. I remember we used to do some papers with like 100 questions. But at least in med school we had MCQs. Not all papers were this sort of, questions that need to be answered with some sort of paragraph. Anyway, I think it's a nice little paper. I'd probably get maybe half, or if I actually sat down, I don't know how long it takes to do this paper, maybe 1 hour. If it takes like 1 hour, I'd probably get like a 70, 60, 70. If I took a book and revised for at least 1 week, this one I'll get everything. Anyway, that was just out of curiosity. Thought, let me see what these people have been answering. And yeah, see you guys in the next video. Bye. No pressure.